In the late 1980s, Mickey Rourke was not simply a rising star in Hollywood. He was considered one of the most electrifying actors of his generation. Directors praised his intensity. Audiences were drawn to his vulnerability. Critics saw echoes of Marlon Brando in his restless performances. And then, almost without warning, he seemed to disappear. Before continuing, a quiet reminder to like this video and subscribe to the Final Cut Stories for more carefully documented investigations into Hollywood's most compelling careers. Mickey Rourke's ascent had been swift. After early acclaim in films such as Diner, Rumblefish, and The Pope of Greenwich Village, he reached international recognition with 9.5 Weeks. His performances carried a rawness that felt unpredictable, even dangerous. Studios saw a bankable leading man. Industry insiders saw something more complicated. Behind the camera, Rourke developed a reputation for being difficult. Directors described clashes on set. Co-stars spoke of tension. Some praised his commitment to authenticity. Others questioned his volatility. As the 1980s ended, the roles began to change. Leading parts became supporting ones. Major studios grew cautious. Then came a decision that stunned Hollywood. In the early 1990s, at the height of his acting career, Rourke stepped away from film and returned to professional boxing. It was not a publicity stunt. It was a full commitment. He had boxed in his youth and believed the sport grounded him. But the physical toll was severe. Over several years, he suffered multiple facial injuries, broken bones, and concussions. Reconstructive surgeries followed. Some procedures were later described by Rourke himself as unsuccessful. When he returned to acting, audiences saw a transformed face. The industry saw risk. Casting agents struggled to place him. The heartthrob image had vanished. In its place stood a hardened figure marked by experience and damage. Was it rebellion against Hollywood's constraints? Was it self-destruction? Or was it a man attempting to reclaim control over his own identity? The story was far from over. By the mid-1990s, Mickey Rourke's career had entered a prolonged period of uncertainty. The offers were smaller. The budgets were lower. Once positioned as a leading man, he now appeared in independent productions and direct-to-video films. Industry narratives began to harden. He was labeled unreliable, difficult, unpredictable. Rourke did not deny his reputation. In multiple interviews, he acknowledged clashes with directors and admitted that ego had influenced earlier decisions. He spoke openly about feeling alienated from Hollywood's system. According to his own statements, he believed the industry had turned its back on him long before he stepped into the boxing ring. Boxing, in his view, was not an escape from success. It was an escape from frustration. But the physical consequences were undeniable. Years of punishment in the ring required reconstructive surgeries that altered his appearance dramatically. Rourke later stated that several procedures were corrective efforts after boxing injuries, and that at least one surgery did not produce the intended results. Public speculation about cosmetic choices followed, but he consistently attributed the majority of changes to damage sustained in the sport. Financial strain also became part of the story. Court records and interviews confirmed that Rourke faced significant monetary pressure during this period. At one point, he reportedly sold his home. He later described being close to professional collapse. Roles were scarce. His standing in Hollywood seemed permanently diminished. Then, gradually, something shifted. In the early 2000s, supporting performances began to draw renewed attention. Directors such as Robert Rodriguez cast him in projects that embraced his altered presence rather than hiding it. His performance in Sin City reminded audiences of his intensity. It did not erase the past, but it reframed him. The true turning point arrived in 2008 with The Wrestler. Cast as Randy "The Ram" Robinson, an aging fighter confronting physical decline and regret, Rourke delivered a performance widely interpreted as autobiographical in tone. Critics responded with near-universal acclaim. He won the Golden Globe. He received an Academy Award nomination. For a moment, Hollywood welcomed him back. But redemption in the film industry is rarely simple. The success of The Wrestler appeared to mark a full-circle return. Mickey Rourke stood on major award stages once again. His Golden Globe acceptance speech was emotional and widely discussed. The Academy Award nomination reaffirmed what many critics had long believed, that his talent had never disappeared. It had only been buried beneath conflict and consequence. Yet the years that followed did not restore him to the position he once held in the 1980s. Instead of becoming a consistent leading presence, Rourke accepted a mix of supporting roles and franchise appearances. In 2010, he portrayed the antagonist Ivan Vanko in Iron Man 2, a high-profile studio production within the expanding Marvel Universe. The film was commercially successful, but Rourke later expressed dissatisfaction with how the character was developed in the final cut. Public comments suggested creative disagreements, though no formal disputes were reported. Subsequent projects varied in scale and reception. Some independent films struggled to find wide distribution. Others received modest attention. The pattern was uneven, but no longer chaotic. The volatility that once defined his professional narrative seemed tempered by age and experience. In interviews during the 2010s, Rourke spoke more reflectively about his past. He acknowledged mistakes without dramatizing them. He credited personal relationships and a renewed focus on discipline for stabilizing his life. There were no major legal scandals dominating headlines. No sudden disappearances. Only a career that had evolved into something quieter, less explosive, but still active. What truly happened to Mickey Rourke was not a single downfall or a single comeback. It was a sequence of choices. A departure from Hollywood at its peak. Physical sacrifice in a sport that left permanent marks. Professional isolation. Then, against expectation, a return built not on beauty or youth, but on experience and damage. His face changed. His status shifted. His myth fractured. But the actor never fully vanished. And in Hollywood, survival itself can be the most revealing story of all.